Apple is gearing up to shake up the smartphone market once again, and this time it might not be with a super expensive flagship, but with a more affordable, strategically important device, the iPhone 17e, according to multiple leaks, supply chain reports, and insider chatter. This entry model in the iPhone 17 family could be arriving sooner than many people expect, and it's shaping up to be far more than just a watered-down version of the main lineup. Instead of another minor refresh, Apple appears to be using the iPhone 17e to correct course after a series of relatively modest upgrades and mixed reactions to previous non-Pro models. The goal seems clear: deliver a modern design, a much better display, powerful next-generation performance, and key ecosystem features, all at a price that undercuts traditional flagships while still feeling distinctly premium. In this deep dive, let's break down everything we know and expect about the iPhone 17e, its redesigned chassis, upgraded display with dynamic island, A19 bionic power, connectivity upgrades, expected pricing strategy, and where it fits inside Apple's broader product roadmap. By the end, you'll see why this might be one of Apple's most important iPhones of the year. First, we have to start with the design, because for most users, how a phone looks and feels in the hand is just as important as what's inside. One of the biggest criticisms of recent non-Pro iPhones has been design fatigue. The flat-sided, slab-like aesthetic, while iconic in its own way, has started to feel a bit dated and less ergonomic over long periods of use. Leaks around the iPhone 17e strongly suggest that Apple is finally ready to move on from that older look and embrace a more refined, comfortable shape. Instead of reusing the same squared-off framework, the iPhone 17e is expected to adopt a more modern chassis language introduced on earlier, well-received models in Apple's lineup. That means gently curved, contoured edges that blend more naturally into the frame, creating a softer and more ergonomic profile. This isn't just a cosmetic tweak. Those rounded, sculpted edges should make the iPhone 17e feel significantly better in daily use. Compared to the stark, angular sides of its immediate predecessors, this redesigned frame will likely sit more securely in your grip, reducing the chance of slips. Feel more natural during one-handed use in long texting sessions. Be more comfortable to hold for extended periods of scrolling, gaming, or reading. If you've ever felt your current flat-sided phone dig into your palm over time, the iPhone 17e's rumored design shift could be a very welcome change. It shows Apple is listening to user feedback and prioritizing practicality and comfort alongside aesthetics. Next, let's move to what might be the single most transformative part of the iPhone 17e experience: the display. For many years, Apple has reserved its best display technologies for higher-end models. But based on what we're hearing, the iPhone 17e is poised to make a major leap that brings it dramatically closer to the flagship experience. The most headline-worthy change is the rumored adoption of the dynamic island. That means the iPhone 17e is expected to finally ditch the older, static notch design and replace it with Apple's newer, interactive pill shape cut out at the top of the screen. Dynamic island isn't just a different shape. It's a software and hardware integration point that transforms how you see and interact with live activities. On the iPhone 17e, this should allow you to see ongoing calls, timers, AirPods connections, and navigation directions at a glance, track music playback, voice recordings, and background tasks without leaving your current app. Enjoy a more modern, animated interface element that feels dynamic rather than static and intrusive. This alone modernizes the iPhone 17e's front-facing design and instantly makes it feel more in line with Apple's latest UI direction. But the upgrades don't stop at the cutout. Leaks indicate that the iPhone 17e's panel may be sourced from a previous higher-tier model, effectively trickling down flagship-grade screen tech into a more accessible price point. That means a big jump in peak HDR brightness, making it far easier to see content in harsh daylight, richer contrast, and more accurate colors for streaming, gaming, and photo editing, a much more immersive viewing experience overall. Especially for HDR video, outdoor usability has often been a dividing line between mid-range and true flagship phones. And the iPhone 17's rumored brightness bump could narrow that gap in a big way. Now, to keep the iPhone 17 properly positioned, beneath the standard iPhone 17, Apple will still impose some deliberate limitations. When you compare the two directly, several differences are expected. The iPhone 17's display will likely be slightly smaller than the main iPhone 17 panel. Bezels may be a bit thicker, resulting in a lower overall screen-to-body ratio. Advanced features like promotion, with its adaptive high refresh rates, are not expected on the 17's, and always-on display mode will likely remain exclusive to higher-end models. Peak brightness, while impressive, will still fall short of the very best panels used in top-tier iPhones. Display protection is rumored to be standard strengthened glass, rather than the ultra-robust ceramic shield used on Pro models. Even with those compromises, in the context of its price bracket, the iPhone 17's display would represent a huge generational leap, especially for anyone upgrading from much older or entry-level devices. Gone are the days when a budget iPhone meant accepting a clearly second-class screen. Under the hood, everything points to the iPhone 17 being far more powerful than its E. Branding might suggest at the center of this performance jump is Apple's next-generation mobile processor, the A19 Bionic. While Apple hasn't officially announced the chip, industry reports and early benchmark whispers indicate that it will bring noticeable gains in everyday CPU performance for apps, multitasking, and system responsiveness, a particularly strong boost in GPU power, making the iPhone 17 far more capable for modern games and high-end graphics. Enhanced machine learning capabilities that support smarter features across the system, from photography to voice recognition. Most exciting part of the A19 Bionic story for the iPhone 17's is the rumored GPU upgrade. With a significantly more capable graphics engine, this device could handle graphically demanding mobile games at higher frame rates and improved visual quality, advanced augmented reality experiences in AR-heavy apps and games, more sophisticated computational photography, enabling richer image processing without long delays to maintain a clear gap between the iPhone 17 and the true flagship models. Apple is very likely to use a slightly tuned variant of the A19 in this device, a version with, for example, fewer GPU cores or slightly lower peak performance. This kind of segmentation is standard practice across the industry. But even with those adjustments, the A19 Bionic in the iPhone 17 should feel like a major upgrade over older chips found in current mid-range phones. In short, the iPhone 17 isn't just about looking new. It's about feeling fast, future-ready, and responsive for years to come. Beyond raw power, connectivity is another area where Apple seems ready to push the 17's forward. On the cellular side, the iPhone 17's is expected to retain a proven, high-quality modem solution that ensures solid LTE and 5G performance. It may not use Apple's absolute latest, cutting-edge modem, but for most users, it should deliver stable 5G connections in both sub-6 GHz and potentially mid-band coverage, depending on region. Reliable call quality and data speeds for streaming, social media, and cloud-based apps. Where things get more interesting is in local wireless connectivity. Strong rumors suggest Apple could equip the iPhone 17 with its newest Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chipsets. If that happens, the phone could support Wi-Fi 7, offering higher throughput, lower latency, and better performance in crowded environments, like apartments, offices, or public hotspots. Bluetooth 6, or the latest supported standard, which would improve audio stability, reduce lag, and enhance connectivity with headphones, wearables, and accessories. Another highly anticipated Feature is the return or continuation of ultra-wideband or UWB technology. UWB opens up a range of advanced capabilities, more precise location tracking with AirTags and compatible accessories, better device-to-device awareness for features like digital car keys and smart home integration, enhanced experiences within Apple's spatial and AR-driven features over time. If UWB does indeed make its way into the iPhone 17e, this more affordable model suddenly becomes far more powerful inside Apple's broader ecosystem, rather than feeling like a cut down. Outlier battery life and charging are always top concerns, especially for mainstream buyers. While exact battery capacities haven't leaked in detail, several factors point to the iPhone 17e having the potential for excellent endurance. The A19 Bionic chip is expected to be more efficient than its predecessor, reducing power draw. For the same tasks, the lack of power-hungry high refresh rate promotion could actually play in the 17e's favor when it comes to battery longevity. Apple, as continued optimization of iOS for its own hardware tends to yield consistent improvements in real-world usage time. On the charging and ecosystem side, one of the most important features is the continued support for MagSafe. The return of MagSafe in rumors around this device suggest that wireless charging and accessory integration will remain central to Apple's vision, even in this more affordable tier.